It's happening. Yes, we are live. And I am Deborah Morrison, the visionary for the We Can Do It Women Movement. And you are in for such a rich treat because my guest today is none other than my dear friend and the esteemed Linda Fisk. Linda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Deborah. What an incredible platform that you have created. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here with you today. I'm so, so grateful.
Well, it's an honor for sure. And I want to introduce any of you that may not have known Linda up until now to Linda for just a New York minute. And then we're going to allow her to expound because she is absolutely brilliant. She's a multi-award winning CEO, a TEDx speaker, 5 times international best-selling author. She is a U.S. Senator for the WBAF, World Business Angels Forum. TV and podcast host, keynote speaker, university professor, dedicated to what? Amplifying and extending the success of other high caliber business leaders. Wow. She's the chairwoman of LeadHership Global, a community of unstoppable women enhancing their leadership blueprint, right? And embracing their power to be the very, 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 very best version of themselves in work and in life. And she embodies that. I know her. In LeadHership Global, she supports and guides ambitious, creative women just like us. We can do it, women, in order to help them fulfill their mission and their dreams with powerful connections, support, practical tools, and valuable resources to show up, speak up, and step into their careers and personal lives. Meet Linda Fisk.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I am so grateful for the very kind, generous introduction. Thank you.
You're most welcome. So Linda has a great deal of expertise. She's gotten her master's and her PhD in clinical psychology and is absolutely a master at weaving together so many of the aspects of what it takes, to be successful. And so let's start, Linda, with the credibility brick, if you will, at the base. Talk to us about how you define credibility.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Deborah. I would say for those of us that are business owners, entrepreneurs, you may be a business owner, business founder, business investor. You are the face of your business, and everything you do reflects on your brand. And that's why it's so important to make sure that you're taking actionable steps to build a strong brand that will be credible and will help elevate your business and earn the reputation of a global influencer. So as you said, Deborah, it is important to start by defining credibility. Credibility is the quality of being trusted and being seen as an authentic, reliable resource. It's the quality of not only being convincing and believable, but actually reliably delivering on your promises. And did you know that only 14% of consumers say that advertising or promotion is credible? Now, that's according to the Edelman Trust Barometer, but 92% of consumers trust recommendations. They trust testimonies, referrals, and recommendations from a friend over any other kind of advertising or promotion. Now, that's according to Nielsen. And in fact, 60% are more likely to buy from a brand or a person that has been recommended by someone they know. So I got to tell you, this idea of being credible, being trustworthy is fundamental to building your business and building your brand. And in fact, get this, 70% of consumers will actually pay more for a brand that they trust, a brand that they know is credible. And one of the most important ingredients to building a trustworthy brand is credibility and transparency. So that's why this idea of credibility is so important.
Well, this is amazing. And I'm really glad you threw in that 70% of consumers are willing to pay more. Because sometimes we say, well, we're not going to really pay to spruce up my credibility, not going to pay to spruce up my branding and my website or my pictures or whatever it is. And yet, to your point, this is going to have an ROI. This is going to give us great returns. Now, you distinguish between personal and professional branding. So vet that for us, please.
Yeah. Now, I would say that the two definitely need to be in alignment, but professional branding is the process of creating and promoting a public image that's associated with a business. It's associated with some sort of professional brand, a business, a nonprofit, a for-profit, something. And a dynamic, positive, solid professional brand can impact your customer base. It can help you grow. It can help you develop incredible profitability. And in a highly competitive environment, your brand can help people actually choose your services, even if you offer premium pricing. So a business with a strong brand can actually attract better people, can attract better opportunities. People with a very strong professional brand keep loyal customers who buy more products and services over the lifetime of that relationship. They gain new customers who value that company's standing, that company's vision, mission, principles, and their brand. And I tell you, it leads to better market values and lower capital costs. But importantly, the online image of you or your business often directly relates to your personal brand and your reputation. So presenting a personal image across your social media accounts, marketing materials, professional website that shows careful planning and thoughtful professionalism can actually build your personal brand as well as your professional brand. And I have to say that both are inextricably linked to your reputation. Your personal brand and your professional brand are funded through your reputation. So it's the combination of your expertise, your character, the values you present, and the impression that you leave on others that really culminates in the creation of a professional brand or a personal brand, and the two have to be in alignment.
I hope you guys are picking up what she's putting down. She's talking about the fun. I can hardly write as fast as she was talking. The funding through, is it the reputation, Linda? This is the funding of our businesses.
It is. It absolutely is. And actively building your professional brand is actually an empowering process of personal, purposeful, and intentional choices. So keep that in mind. It's personal, purposeful, and intentional choices. And by making those choices very carefully, it gives you control over your professional development, your network, your overall well-being, and it can even make you more visible in your current business, in your industry, in your current position. And I got to tell you, I can't wait to dive into the actionable insights that will help the listening audience build their professional and personal reputation, brand, and visibility.
Well, we're going to get into that in a second. And you know what you're talking about, Linda? I've known you for a couple of years, and it's just been rich every single encounter, and looking forward to so many more. This thread, if you will, to my ears, of authenticity, right?
Yes.
Right through both that personal and that professional brand. And boy, when you have that woven together, I think you're unstoppable, and you are. Congratulations.
Well, that's so kind. And you know, that is part of elevating your brand. How do you stand out from the competition? What makes you unique? What makes you authentic? And I think first and foremost, you have to have a unique selling proposition. You have to know what makes you different. You have to know why people should trust you, why they should buy from you, right? And that is part of your authenticity, understanding very clearly what makes you unique, what makes you different is the fundamental building block of your brand. And then once you're very, very clear about what makes you really unique, then you can take the action steps for success. You can actually start building that digital blueprint and create a professional brand as a global influencer. But the very first step, very much like what you said, Deborah, is absolutely knowing what makes you different, what is authentic to you.
Oh, absolutely. So you talked with us about personal, purposeful, and intentional choices.
Yes,
Read my
that's
own
right.
writing. And so you had talked with me earlier about 5 actionable insights. Are these 3 of the 5, or are you going to land 5 more on us that's going to help us craft the personal or professional brand?
Yes, we're going to talk about what can make you more visible in your business, what can make you more credible and trustworthy. And
There you
so these are 5 actionable insights that will help you do just that. And number 1, make sure that your personal and business branding are in alignment. We talked a little bit about that, but that is absolutely step 1. Your personal brand should reflect the values and the mission of your business. Because very rarely are you going to find someone who says, I'm an evangelical Christian, and yet they work at Hustler, right?
Yeah.
The 2 parts of that person have to be in alignment. They
Right.
have to be congruent. The second thing that I would say that is incredibly important for everyone to be able to elevate their visibility and build their reputation and their personal and professional brand is be strategic about the platforms that you use to promote your brand. Choose
Right.
platforms that will reach your target audience, where you can be active, where you can be engaged. This isn't just about pushing content out. Let me just say, those days are done. It is not about push marketing. It's about creating a two-way conversation with your audience. It's about engaging with your audience. So know where they are active and where you can find them and engage with them. This isn't just about now pushing out as much content as you can and hoping that it catches someone's eye. This is
Yeah.
about very deliberately, very purposefully knowing who your target audience is and then engaging with them in a conversation. Number 3, create compelling content that speaks to your target audience. Again, this isn't just about talking about who you are and what you do and how to buy from you. This is about really understanding who your target audience is, what pain points they're facing, what their obstacles are, what their roadblocks are, and helping them solve their problems, right? So, what this really means is you need to be so close to the people that you're hoping to serve that you know intimately the biggest challenges that they're facing. And you're one step ahead of them because not only can you recite to them directly the biggest obstacles, roadblocks, challenges in front of them, but you can say to them, and I'm here to help you. And here's how I can help you. That is the third most important step in creating a compelling, dynamic, personal and professional brand based on trust. Number 4, build relationships with other businesses and other influencers in your industry. I cannot emphasize how important it is to create positive, productive partnerships, right? It could be a collaboration, it could be a joint venture, it could be a partnership, but these relationships can help boost your credibility and your reach as you help support them. They in turn help support you, and all ships rise. It is incredibly important that you surround yourself with other businesses, other influencers, other relationships
Yes.
of people that you expect, people that you not only respect, but you admire, people that motivate you, people that influence you. And the
Yes.
very last step that I would say, Deborah, is don't be afraid to monetize your brand. I know so many women who give away their thought leadership, their resources, their tools, their time. So having a paid product or service can actually help you to show customers that you're serious about what you do and that it should command respect and it should be valued at a certain price point.
Yes. I can't agree more. So if anybody missed any of those, here they are. Your personal and your professional, they want to align with your values and your mission. They really need to be congruent. Number 2, strategic, um, uh, for where your platform, where your marketing messages are going to be aired on what platform relative to your audience. Number 3, pushing, oh boy, my writing is so bad. Two-way conversations, not just mind up. This is like Linda, you remember 100 years ago, like we were experts, right? You were expert. And we just thought, well, we'll write a book on what we know, right? Well, no longer. You're like sussing out. What do people want to know? Like, it doesn't matter what we know. And so
Right.
I think this is, I mean, that just really hits me. And then number 3, compelling content, speaking to the target audience. Number 4, building relationships Number three, here's how I can help you. Building relationships and other influences. And number five, not being afraid to charge for what we're worth. And as women, sometimes we fall short on this. And I beg of us, and myself included, to absolutely. So this is how I was taught this. I was in Mark Victor Hansen's inner circle, actually, and he had a speaker that was just like profound. And he said, you imagine a double ballroom, your exact clients, and you're the speaker. And they're there, and they're waiting with bated breath, and their notepads, and their little smartphones. And you don't take the stage. Or you give your stuff away, and no one thinks it's worth it because it's free. And
Right.
this is really something that hit me like, holy camoli, if I believe in what I have, then I believe it's the answer to a lot of ills for a lot of people, then it's my obligation to give it to them in a way, in bite-sized nuggets that they can get value, move their needle, and for me to actually stay in business. Because guess what? If we don't charge for our services, we won't be in business. And there's that double ballroom times a million that are underserved with our unique voice. And how are we going to get that unique voice out is to follow your advice on absolute precision branding. So you're talking about elevating our brand. You talked about differentiating ourselves. How do we elevate that brand then and completely blow our competition away, standing head and shoulders above the competition?
I love that. So I have outlined just a couple action steps for success. These are the steps to create kind of a digital blueprint and create a professional brand as a global influencer. Number one, just like we're doing today, Deborah, speak at as many virtual and in-person events as possible. And let me just say, as you're building your speaking skills, don't worry about being paid. I always hear from women, well, I command $10,000 per speaking role, and I need to be paid $20,000 per session as a speaker. Okay, that's absolutely true. I guarantee that you need to bill what you are worth, 100%. But keep in mind, as a speaker, you can drive revenue to your primary business and build your reputation as a global authority without a speaker's fee.
Yes.
So that speaking opportunity may be worth much more than a speaker's fee. If you're able to connect with your ideal audience, you're able to explain your why, offer something of value, build your reputation as a global authority, and drive revenue to your primary business. So number one, I would say don't worry about that speaker's fee. Take as many free speaking opportunities as you possibly can, especially as you're building your speaking skills. Number two, write a book. I got to tell you that writing a book indicates that you're an authority in your field. Now, if you say, I don't have the money or the time to write a book, holy cow, I'm going to have to give up hours and hours and hours of my skills that I simply don't have. That's okay. Begin by simply co-authoring a book. Share in the exposure and visibility as a best-selling author. Just being able to claim, honestly, that you are a best-selling author does an incredible job of communicating your expertise, your authority, and your credibility. Number three, become a mentor in your industry. Listen, we are all here to leave legacies and to invest in the next generation of leaders. And for me, I will tell you, Deborah, that I feel like the fulfilling feeling of giving back and actually contributing to others is absolutely unparalleled. To me, true meaning and purpose is about how you're able to really better the lives of the people around you. It could be your loved ones, the people in your community, or it could be the lives of people somewhere else in the world. But meaning never comes from what you get. It comes from what you give. So finding ways to give back and make an impact in the world not only elevates your visibility, but it definitely solidifies your reputation as a credible authority. Next, I would say get press coverage. Actively pitch your unique value, your superpower to the local media. And in fact, your local media is actually what national media uses to find stories and to be able to elevate them to a national stage. I've been privileged to be on hundreds of television shows, thousands of podcasts, uh, hundreds of digital and print magazines, but it all started from local media. So once I'm able to tell a compelling story in the local media, that can rise to a national stage very quickly. And soon you'll find that it becomes a bit of a domino effect. One feature leads to another interview, which leads to another profile, and more and more. So absolutely take control over your press coverage and actively pitch your unique value, your superpower to the local media. Next, I'd say be true to your authentic self. Now, I wish, I'm surrounded by amazing women like you every single day, Deborah, and I see the beauty in all the people around me. And I think, gosh, I wish I was a little bit more quirky. I wish I had a little bit more sparkle. I wish I was a little bit more clever, funny, whatever. But unfortunately, I just was not gifted with those characteristics and attributes. But I know I am sincere. I know I am empathetic. I know I do have a level of humility. And those are the qualities that make me distinctive. And it also hopefully makes me memorable. Well, I would say know what makes you unique, know what makes you powerful, know how you were designed, and then walk into that purpose and power. Don't try to be a cookie cutter cutout of someone else because it won't work. As much as I'm surrounded by people that I admire and I respect, and I really wish I had their talents and their gifts and their incredible attributes, I don't. So I have to embrace who I am and use those characteristics to the best of my ability. And lastly, and I know you'll agree with this, Deborah, it's about networking. You've heard the old adage, your network is your net worth. Well, it's absolutely true. And I would encourage everyone to meet inspirational leaders, collaborate with other thought leaders, create lifelong friendships, and be surrounded by people that are invested in your success. People that will tell you the truth in love, people that will guide you, direct you, offer you advice and guidance, people that will tell you about their journeys. Now, in that process, you might just discover a new mentor, a new partner, a new employee that can actually take you to the next level. But every single leader that's intent on becoming a global influencer needs to be on a continuous journey of learning. And we all need someone to help us become our best, someone to help us get inspired, someone to help us build a network of support around us, someone who can help us stay disciplined and maybe encourage accountability. But that is what is so critical, to build a community of people around you that can help elevate you to that next level.
Complete mic drop here. Mic drop. I couldn't agree more. And sometimes, like we all have prepared speeches and then we kind of throw something in, right? And I do like to keep to the time, so I kind of prepare and then I'll throw something in. Well, occasionally I will have people come up to me after and say, oh, that was really great. And I'll say, would you mind giving me a testimonial? And we just pull up to the side and I just pull up my iPhone, nothing fancy. And I say, well, what moved the Dow for you? What piqued your interest? And they'll say something that wasn't in my plan at all. It was just like, you told a joke, you rolled your eyes, you were expressive, and so we can glean from others what might be appealing. That's one person, and you know how this works, like on a radio station, like the broadcasting spread, I can't get the right vernacular, but if one person calls into a radio station in Chicago, it represents 25,000 people, right? And so I think sometimes we get in a little rabbit hole about who we think we are and how we come across, and we might like shrink some of our personality, those very attributes that might distinguish us, right? And separate us from the crowd. What do you think?
I completely agree. And I think part of this is a little bit of an assessment about what makes us unique, not only what makes our business unique, but what makes us unique. How have we been uniquely gifted? What are our strengths? What makes me different from the people that I love most in my life? What would they say are my characteristic and attributes that are uniquely mine? And I think once you do that assessment, once you've taken that inventory, it gives you an opportunity to really embrace what makes you unique. And again, for me, I wish I was clever. I wish I was funny. I wish I was witty. I'm none of those things, and no one would ever claim I am. But I do use those characteristics and attributes that are uniquely mine to build my brand and to be uniquely authentic and transparent about who I am.
Exactly, exactly. And this is new to even me, and I've known you. Talk to us about the World Business Angels Forum. Holy moly, this is so impressive.
Yeah, the World Business Angels Forum is a global organization of entrepreneur investors. So these are all people like me who have invested in multiple companies. If for me, I invest solely in women-owned, women-operated businesses, but most of the World Business Angels Forum, we invest in purpose-driven companies and organizations that are focused on social good. And we have forums all over the world that review the business case of entrepreneurs looking for funding. And we give them unvarnished feedback about what works, what doesn't in their pitch, where we need more information, how they need to structure their presentation a little differently, or it could be that we fund certain entrepreneurs. We've given away billions of dollars of funding, but I think equally important to the funding that the World Business Angels Forum provides, they also provide an incredible network of other entrepreneurs and other investors so that someone seeking funding has this built-in global community of people that are also seeking funding or have access to funding. And they are able to receive input and feedback and direction and advice and guidance to make sure that their round A, round B, round C is more and more successful as they build that corporation, that business, that nonprofit, that organization or enterprise that they are envisioning for the next 5 to 10 years.
And birds of a feather flock together,
That's
right?
right.
So this is an amazing opportunity, and I just applaud you 100%. So let's do some talking about LeadHership Global, because you're the chairwoman and absolute brilliant leader of this group. Over however many thousand, how many thousand?
We're right above 10,000 members.
Yeah, 10,000 members. Okay, so worldwide, guys, worldwide coalition of women who are aligned to be cooperative. We're not competing, we're cooperating. And Linda has put together, I mean, literally, I had to sit down. I often grab the arms of my chair when I open up her email because she says opportunities. And and if you're on your cell phone, you're down 3 screens before you're through with the opportunities. So if you're sitting there thinking, what do I do next? Where can I get a speaking gig? How can I get my book published? Why don't I get into this collaboration book? Hey, Linda's your gal. Linda puts out collaboration books like this, like boom, and they're bestsellers. So to her point, boy, that goes a long way. Best-selling author. You know why? It's a great honor, pardon me. And yet I'm not so thinking that it's completely divorced from people's subconscious that in the old days, New York Times bestseller. It's like when people said bestseller, it was like, okay, if you're a bestseller, it was New York Times, long before Amazon's best-selling moniker, right? And so it carries a lot of cachet. That's just my humble. Linda is your gal with LeadHership Global, and the women I've met there are of such a caliber. There is absolutely nothing left to chance. These are groups, and sometimes they're really small little masterminds. And you, to your point, like just this week, you can't pay money. You can't pay this, double, triple your annual fee to be membership with LeadHership Global. You would pay to get the audience of these brilliant women. So, Linda, talk to us a little bit more about the opportunities at LeadHership Global, because you got to know that there's a whole bunch of our people that really ought to be in there.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I will say that the purpose of LeadHership Global is to create and to support personal and professional breakthroughs. That's really why we exist, is we want to accelerate the success of women all over the world. So we have created tools and resources and learning events and experiences and connections to guide women to achieving greater leverage and greater freedom in their careers and in their businesses. And we do that providing a global community of world-class women thought leaders and experts that are brought together to collaborate, to facilitate excellent outcomes for each other. And that is really the power of community. And I will tell you that this is, I think, such a rich environment to meet inspirational leaders, to create lifelong friendships, to be surrounded by people that truly are invested in your success. Every time I welcome someone new into LeadHership Global, they say to me, I'm so inspired. I'm so motivated by these other women leaders. They cheer you on. They provide unbiased counsel and support. They have literally invested in my success to bring me to a higher level of impact. And that's really what the vision of LeadHership Global is all about. We want to create an impactful community of extraordinary women in leadership all around the globe. And we have vetted now over the past 10 years a comprehensive methodology that's designed to really unleash the full potential of high-performing, growth-oriented leaders.
Yes.
And it really is about surfacing opportunities, privileges, and benefits that women often don't hear about. So we are a confidential, supportive, and private community, but we give extraordinary opportunities to women all over the world. These are opportunities, privileges, benefits, platforms that women otherwise might not have even known is accessible to them.
Yes. Well, absolutely. And no doubt about that. And, Linda has a mind like a steel trap, right? Her memory is just sharper than sharp, right? And so she's got you in the back of her mind. So she hops across the pond, she's in London, and she thinks, hey, wait a minute, you should know you, and she should know her. And pretty soon you're getting an email at any time of the day or night from Linda Fisk saying, you two need to meet up. And with a couple of exceptions, when my parents were ill and dying, I'm on that, like white on rice. I mean, when Linda speaks, I listen. And I'm telling you, the fullness of Linda's background is unparalleled. Let's get serious. She studied psychology through master's and PhD. She gets that, and she has been able to morph and pivot throughout the changes in what, well, I'll just say our society calls facts and alternate facts, right? How slippery is that? And what it's going to take and what it takes now, because to your point, it's not, we can't pull out our old file cabinet and pull out an old marketing plan from 3 years ago and expect it to work. It is not. So we have people within LeadHership Global that are like, oh, completely zoned in with AI and giving our people, myself included, these templates and so forth that save us thousands of woman hours of researching on our own. So it's about this cherry picking, if you will, within an organization, the strength of LeadHership Global, that I find it completely worth every single nickel. And my mind is constantly expanded with all of it. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, Deborah, thank you. Yeah, we have so many women around the world that are at the top of their industry, whether it's healthcare or IT or sales or marketing or AI. And we try to harness the knowledge, the influence, and trust of these high-performing women to help everyone in the network stimulate idea exchange, to support creativity, to provide resources and tools that accelerate success. So we have 2 virtual events every single week where women teach and train and coach and counsel about sales, about operations, about AI, about leadership, anything and everything that you can imagine that you might be challenged with. There's someone in LeadHership Global that's teaching that, training that, consulting on that, coaching on that you have access to. Whether you want to write a book, you want to stand on a TEDx stage, you want to make 6 figures as a public speaker, you want to double or triple the size of your client base, you want to develop a global referral network, you want to double your revenue in the next year. We can help you do that, not because of my genius, but because of the genius of the collective in LeadHership Global. And I got to tell you, I think we're the only organization that really does embrace the passion, the knowledge, the expertise of these high-performing women to positively impact the lives of everyone in the network.
100%. And retreats.
Oh, right. So you and I.
Fun retreats.
Yes. So I have the privilege of going to Costa Rica with the one and only Deborah Morrison in just about a week. I can't believe it. So we do conferences, we do retreats, we do summits, in fact, Deborah is going to be a speaker at our next live summit this March 8th, called the Women's Wealth Symposium in Dallas, Texas. And Deborah is going to help us by sharing her wisdom, her expertise, her knowledge to the 500 women that will be there in Dallas, Texas, and the thousands of women that will be part of the live stream broadcast.
I am so honored and humbled. And anybody in the Dallas area, pop on over. I mean, get in your car and pop over and join us and give us a hug around the neck. And then if you're not, get on the virtual. I mean, I'm the least of the lineup, I can assure you. These are powerhouse people. And yeah, I don't want to put myself down. I'm going to fit in, and I'm going to learn at the feet of and at the elbow of my sisters, because there is so much to learn and so much opportunity, especially like when you get these little concise things. It's like little bursts, and you'll just feed off of that for days and weeks to follow, won't we?
Yes, it's going to be amazing. We have a powerhouse lineup for the Women's Wealth Symposium in Dallas, Texas, celebrating International Women's Day. So it'll be on March 8th next year, so only about 3 months away. But it is on International Women's Day because we are celebrating women all over the world by really helping them achieve their own definition of financial freedom, whatever that looks like to you, whether it's generational wealth or whether it is just simply having a sustainable lifestyle. We are going to create the resources, the tools, the expertise, the connections with women like you, Deborah, that can help women all around the world achieve true financial freedom.
I think that now is the time, and I think it's a uniform stand that women can take for the just treatment, the rectification of all of the systems that have not treated women equally. I think regardless of what political ilk, you can take a stand for women. And it's incumbent upon us to do exactly that, to be involved as women for women, however you approach it. Now is the time, because there are women around the world that are looking to us to lead. And it's our responsibility to own our privilege, to use our privilege on behalf of those who would give their eye teeth for a modicum of our privilege, and to rectify these unjust systems. And I know we're both heavily involved in that. I read something in an article where you were contributing, Linda, and you talked about overcoming challenges, and you put out 4 tips, exploring new solutions to emerging challenges. You say it can be daunting, but here's 4 quick tips to help you reassign preconceived concepts of structure and routine for your business. I love these, so I'm just going to spiel them off and you can comment on them.
Please.
When pressure is high, eliminate the distractions. That's so good.
I think that is so important, because when you're under time pressure or deadline pressure or revenue pressure, it's really easy to become paralyzed. It's really easy to start chasing after the new shiny thing as a way of avoiding the pressure that you feel. It's a great way of avoiding or procrastinating. But if you literally rid yourself of all distractions, all new shiny things, all things that have a priority level of B or below,
There you go.
then what it forces you to do is actually face the crisis or the pressure or the stress that you're under right now and tackle it effectively and efficiently so that you can move forward knowing that it could be an hour, a day, a week, a month, that period of time you've been able to move through that successfully, which you should absolutely celebrate, and then get to those things on your to-do list that are much less important.
Oh, couldn't agree more. And I'm such a student of like Dr. Tara Schwartz and other neuroplasticity experts, and everything I'm reading, literally of probably 6 months, is managing our energies, right?
Yes.
Managing our energies such that we, to your point, we eliminate the distractions and we set our intentionality. We actually say to ourselves, I take this stand, and then we channel those energies. So I'm just like all over that. All right, Deb,
Yeah.
manage your energies. And that keeps, people talk about, building financial wealth. And so they like put more money into an account, but then they aren't looking at their budget and whether their spending aligns with their values. And so I align it to carrying around a little leaky bucket with holes in it, right? And if you were trying to water a garden or a plant or something with this leaky bucket, you'd soon realize, because the trail behind you shows it's leaking. And so let's, instead of putting more money in the top of a leaky bucket, let's stop the leak. So stop the distractions, focus in. Here's number 2 that you said: react to concerns with understanding and support. And I'll do the other 3. I'll do all 3 remaining, and then you can just opine on anything that you wish to opine on. So react to concerns with understanding, support, celebrate progress and even small wins in public, and be transparent and over communicate.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely how I live my life.
Yeah.
But there's one part of that recommendation that I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive in, and that's the celebrating wins.
Good.
And, oftentimes we're so busy sort of uh, tackling the next thing on our list. And, whether that is strategic planning for the next quarter, assessing the revenue of the past quarter, hiring the new employee, developing the new program or the new marketing campaign, we're constantly sort of in forward motion, which is not a bad thing. It's great to take action. But occasionally it's so important to take a step back and recognize the incredible impact that we've made, the milestones we've hit, the achievements and accomplishments that we've been able to manifest. And I feel like the more that we're able to at least have gratitude and
Yeah.
appreciation for be able to take the steps that we have, really does solidify our enthusiasm for our business. It helps us prevent burnout. It helps us prevent overwhelm, because we're taking even just 5 minutes to celebrate and be grateful for the incredible achievements we have been able to experience. Sometimes it could just literally be a 5-minute dance party in your office. It could be that you have your computer surrounded with sticky notes that say, wow, this happened, and I'm so grateful for this. This was amazing. It could be that you have that dessert at dinner that you've been denying yourself for, months and months in an effort to lose weight, but you say, you know what? Today I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to have that dessert. Whatever celebration means to you, connect some sort of happy physical activity with the experience of being grateful and absolutely cheering yourself on as your biggest cheerleader.
Yes. Oh, I talk about women who have had a misstep and they're paralyzed and shameful and so forth. And I say, we're going to get a win. We're going to get a financial win, a small one. And then we're going to build on it. We're going to build on it, and it's going to compound. And so, to your point, Linda, like a lot of us have lived certain seasons of our life. And if you looked at our EKG, probably looked like a dead person, a little bit, and it's when we interject, or maybe the outside influences, the economy or whatever, it, interjects this kind of pattern interrupt, to use neurolinguistic programming, that we see, oh, wait. oh my gosh, I do have my health, and it draws us into this intentionality and this recognition, if you will, to count our blessings, to count our blessings. I really am a planner through and through, and I really want us to plan out our next steps. I don't need 18 steps. I don't need even 7 steps. I just need one next step and maybe a second one in order to keep us in motion. And yet, absent that, I don't know as we're going to move forward as swiftly and or towards our goal, because what do they say? Fail forward fast, right? So if you happen to take the second step and it's not as productive as what another step might be, you simply pivot. But if you're sitting back deliberating, and you're not recognizing the genius that maybe your best friend would say, hey, Linda, you're pretty darn snappy, right? Some days you might need to hear that from your friends. And so I invite us to say that to our friends, and I invite us actually to record that. I've done that before. In the old days when we had tapes from our answer machines, I recorded a few of those tapes. Some of those people are dead, and I listened to their voices saying, "You did great." I tell you what, it can really help. I live alone, and it's like, me and the four walls, right? It's so whatever it takes. I want us to be in celebration, and the celebration that is most profound is the gratitude for our blessings.
100%, Deborah. You said it so beautifully. And, I also think that throughout your leadership journey, you have to continue to learn how to better serve others and to genuinely support their advancement, their overall engagement in their business, in their career, in their work. You have to be mindful of the opportunity and really own the responsibility that you have to serve not only your own advancement,
Yes.
but to serve others. And in fact, I would even argue that it's through serving others that we're able to advance. And so sometimes my celebration is not my wins, it's the wins of the people around me.
There
It's
you go.
like, wow, Connie was able to build her board with the members of LeadHership Global, and I'm so grateful for that. Wow, Denise created a partnership with Sonia that doubled the size of her coaching practice in 6 months. Wow. And, you know, Tanya was able to create a joint venture with Sarah, and now it has surpassed the revenue potential of her core business. It's my celebrations are often the celebration of the people that I serve, and that brings such genuine joy. So sometimes your celebrations don't even have to be, hey, I did this on my checklist. Hey, this was successful. I was able to launch this. I was able to do that. Sometimes your successes are an acknowledgement of how you have served others, how
Yes.
you've support their advancement, and the wins that they're experiencing.
Yes. Oh, because one and one make three or four or five, depending. And some of those are like we don't really ever know the full effect of our words and our actions, right? We put it out there. Like you put so many seeds in the ground, Linda, and like there'll be something that comes up and it's been watered and the sun is shown on it and it will bloom. And yet we don't know the extent of our reach. And so if you don't happen to see some of those results right away, you keep seeding. I came from a humble farm, beef cattle farm, and we put seeds in the ground. Yes, we did. And we hoped for adequate rain and we hoped for timely sunshine. And yet you do keep seeding season after season. So when we feel low, give us some tips and tools from your psychology background in this kind of busy, noisy world as to how we can come back into, Linda, our center and retool, refine ourselves to move forward in a productive way.
So two things I would say is you named this earlier, Deborah, but it's all rooted in gratitude. It's about understanding the blessings and the abundance in your life. And there's a story about the very happiest nation in the world,
Yes.
um, Bhutan. And Bhutan is also the poorest country in the world, one of the poorest countries in the world. They also happen to be the happiest country in the world. So their sense of gratitude doesn't come from what they have. It comes from what they share. It comes from being grateful for the sun and the land and the fruit and the vegetables that they're able to grow. It comes from sharing that with family, with friends. It comes from sharing stories and sharing joy and sharing ritual and sharing milestones in people's lives. It is that sharing that creates an incredible sense of gratitude and happiness in one of the poorest countries of the planet. It's
Yes.
beautiful, but they have very little actually monetary currency or valuation that we would consider to be worthwhile, I suppose, in many Western cultures.
Mhm.
But I would say, in addition to recognizing the incredible blessing and abundance in all of our lives, there is a time where occasionally you do need to refine your purpose. You
Yes.
need to really consider, am I living in accordance to my values? Am I living in accordance to my mission and vision? Or do I need to pivot? Do I need to redirect? And sometimes by refining your purpose and being clear about how that may be evolving over time, you can become conscious of how your actions can positively influence others. And I really think that you can create the impact you wish to have and achieve the outcomes you're aiming for in accordance to the people that you support and help. So if you raise your level of visibility and you extend your thought leadership with the intention of serving other people, you can't help but feel incredible joy and fulfillment and reward from the impact that you can create.
Well, it's completely profound. I know that many people have said this. A lot of people attribute to Zig Ziglar. You'll get everything you want if you give people what they want, and it's really in that order, right? We will
Yeah.
be paid in money and in gratitude and in our own feelings of fulfillment. Because to your point, most all of us, certainly in our orbits, are not chasing the almighty dollar. We're not. We understand that that's a tool, and yet we are looking to be change agents. And you, as an angel investor, are doing that, with your money and with your energies and so forth. I will say to our viewing audience, Linda was one of my esteemed guests in the We Can Do It Women TV show. I know you're your own TV producer, Linda, and I congratulate you on that. And you can go to the wecandoitwomen.com website and catch on the tab the TV show and see when Linda's interview, which was completely on point and riveting, as Linda always is. So Linda, we have a number of women in our group that are 60 and wiser, and
Yep.
I know you have a lot of experience with them. You're nowhere near there. Yet you do know people that are 60 and
Sure.
wiser. And so talk with us about the possibilities that exist now, and getting any woman that might be sitting back thinking, I'm not sure I could do it, into a space where she imagines herself as moving forward to pursue her dream.
I love that. So, two things come to mind. One, legacy is not bound by age or time served. I really believe that legacy represents your body of work at each stage of your career, each stage of your business, as you establish really the fundamental foundational building blocks and then accumulate the required wisdom to contribute to the growth, the innovation, the opportunity, both inside and outside the workplace. So your legacy grows with each new experience, with each previously untested idea, or maybe bold ideal that you're courageous enough to deploy. And each time that you are able to inspire someone else to see something through to fruition.
Yes.
So that level of impact is not dependent on a particular age, a
That,
particular level of expertise or experience. It's not bound by age or time,
yeah.
but it really represents your work to impact other lives.
Mm.
And I would also suggest that, in my own life, I made unconventional choices. And they were my choices, but they didn't fit other people's mold. I didn't get married when I was 20. I didn't have children when I was 30. I continued to pursue graduate degrees and higher levels of corporate titles, I guess. I ran marathons. I ran triathlons. Everyone was kind of looking at me, aren't you too old to do that? I'm a master diver. I've dove every single major body of water in the world and traveled by myself. Isn't that a little dangerous for you? So all of my choices throughout my life, not being married when I was 20, not having kids when I was 30, in fact, never having children, traveling by myself, building my own wealth, investing in real estate, climbing the corporate ladder, going for a PhD, all of those things were met with incredible controversy, especially at certain decades of my life. There were certain decades of my life that I didn't live according to conventional wisdom of what a woman should be doing at that particular juncture. And I would suggest that your life is yours to design. And age and time should not dictate anything about what you have designed for your life. Age and time should not dictate where you should be and what you should be doing. You all have heard the many stories of authors that didn't begin till they were 70, artists that didn't hit any kind of degree of significance till they were 80, businesses that weren't created till the founder was in their 60s. This is happening over and over again. And I would suggest that your life is yours to design, and it's not done till you say it's done. And the next chapter might be a day away or a year away, but it's yours to design and it's yours to decide.
Wow. And if I might get personal, let's rewind. I want our entire audience just to reflect back on this last 55 minutes and listen to the articulate and such a well-spoken person, woman in Linda Fisk. And yet it wasn't always that way.
That's right. So when I was younger, what Deborah is alluding to is I had a very pronounced stutter. And when I was very young, grade school, I was diagnosed as being clinically shy. I couldn't hold the attention of anyone. I was too shy to make eye contact. I was too introverted to even utter a word. I couldn't connect with other people, whether it was holding their eye contact, shaking their hand, or beginning a conversation. As I got older, that clinical shyness developed into a very pronounced stutter. I literally could not string a sentence together. And I found it nearly impossible to have a conversation. Now, interestingly, this was not neurological, it was psychological. It's not as though there are two different forms of stuttering, and mine was not a neurological issue, it was a psychological issue. And it led me to a life of incredible isolation, self-imposed isolation, and incredible awkwardness in social interaction until I hit college. And I realized I'm never going to have the life that I envision for myself if I can't find a way of moving through this period and being able to move through a debilitating disability called stuttering. It was debilitating because it prevented me from having normal relationships. So I took every speech class at my university, went through years and years of counseling, speech therapy, speech training, public speaking courses. It was absolutely the most difficult and often the most humiliating years of my life, because it was not just not an easy road. It was an insurmountable disability at times that felt impossible to overcome. And yet here I am several years after that, let me just say a couple decades after that, and I have spoken in rooms of 10,000, 5,000. I have held the stage and captivated audiences for an hour or more and never stumbled on word. Now, does it still plague me at times? Absolutely. Is it still a bit of an Achilles heel? 100%. But have I developed the resilience and the power and the strength of character to tackle the worst debilitating disability that I can imagine that prevented me from having any kind of close relationship? I am proud to stand here and say yes. And if I can do it, you can do it for anything that may be challenging you.
Well, you took the word right off of my notepad. I wanted to end with, we need to be yes ready. And you were yesing yourself to overcome that limitation. And you did with aplomb. We are more than grateful. I am more than grateful to know and love you. And I am so glad for our audience to hear just some of the wisdom and the experience and the genius of Linda Fisk. And Linda, we are absolutely honored and humbled to have you in our midst, and we will have replays that everyone can listen to on on the YouTube. So thank you so much, and keep on keeping on. We're going to see you in Costa Rica.
I love it. Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Linda. Good day.